it happen that once all the data is aggregated and all the hard work is done and published on the internet, then just Google bots are scanning or scanning all the websites and putting all this data to Google as well. So Google has an even easier job to take away the data and present it with their interface. So would that fear of Google be the right motivation to pursue this opening of data?
Well, if you do it, I think the big thing is if you do it yourself, then all the license terms are in your own control, right?
Okay.
And what you see now is that, for instance, university libraries, they just make a deal with Google, and they transform much of the rights to Google, and in return, Google will scan their books. And then you will lose the rights forever to Google. And that's what people are afraid of. They want to prevent it with projects like this. One of the examples that I use this example in a talk for people from the Dutch archive world, and I explained them the story about the European project. And they said, okay, well, even the Dutch are already involved, even if you don't know it. So there's this one of the partners is the Dutch National Archive of the Netherlands, and when you Google for content on this European portal, one of the things you can get is this nice picture from a bird that is from the Dutch National Archive. And then there was a big rumor in the audience, and all the people from the Dutch National Archive, they started talking, and I had no clue what was going on. And it turned out that they requested Europeana to remove all of their content from the portal, and it was still there. And they were very upset. And because they didn't like their content to be in Europeana, because it was presented there completely out of context. And this particular bird was a good example of that, because this particular bird is just a fragment of a page. It's just presented completely out of context. You have no clue where the rest of the page is. You don't even know if you are browsing the website that there is a rest of the page. That single page is taken from a book. You have the entire book. You have no clue that there's more than a book. The book is from a series. For example, there's a series. The series is from an archive. And all the interesting things that you can tell about this particular bird, drawing of the bird, is in the metadata of that archive. So this is from an archive of presents from the Dutch to the Japanese emperor, from the days that the Dutch had a monopoly, and that the Japanese emperor quickly found out that he could demand anything from the Dutch he wanted, because any demand will be they will satisfy any demand, and he just requested a book with nice pictures of birds, and I got it, right? And he requested several other books with other pictures and other stuff, and he just got it. So this whole story is completely lost in the current website, because everything is dumbed down to XML building form format, and there's no way you can make a common format that is rich enough to contain this kind of stuff. It also contains the special things of other museums that have other restrictions and other complexities, and we need to do something else here. So actually, this is all the building form metadata. I'm not going to show you most of it. It says it's a colored drawing of a bird. There's a date. There's a description. There's a source. It's from source 1409. Not what it is. The rights. There's a provider. So the provider is actually not the National Archive. This is where the whole logistics went wrong. That all the things provided by the National Archive were withdrawn, but via a different route. There is this portal in the Netherlands that also had content from the National Archive that provided it to Europeana, so that's where it went wrong. There are some subjects, some keywords: ice, Japan, the capital, Japan, the lowercase, drawing, bird. Yeah, basically you have no clue where it's coming from and where it belongs to. So I can sympathize with their reaction, in that they didn't want their precious content in a, what they still this is Yippie Janneke format, right? This is, all the things that are interesting are stripped down, and what is left is basically nothing. Another example is one of my favorite paintings, is the dance from Matisse. And I searched for that in Europeana, and I got back this, which is called a record with an image that looks like the dance. It's called A Dança, which is I think Portuguese, which is already suspicious. It has a date 1975. If you know anything about art, then you know that it's wrong. It should be like 1910, right? And if you don't know anything about art, you can read that the creator was Matisse, and he died in 1954. So there has to be something wrong with 55 as a date. The description is a monography, which is also suspicious. But it's also said it's a replication of a painting. So probably the replica is from 1975. There's some format, and it's from the National Library in Portugal. Right? So now we feel what's going on there. The National Library contains a replica. They put the metadata about the replica online. And the reason that I only get this replica and I don't get the real thing is that the real thing is in St. Petersburg, which is not part of Europe. So it's not in the European project, it's not in Europeana. And the other, there are actually two real things. The other copy of the painting, the real copy of the painting is in New York. So it's also not there for the same reason. So here, something is put out of context, and if you visit the website of the National Library in Portugal, you will understand this. This is out of context, it's complete mystery. Another thing, so this is a website from the Getty Institute in the US, and they have compiled vocabularies for people that want to annotate and describe artworks. Right? So one of the things they have is the union list of artist names online, and they have collected all the major artists in the art history. So this is the record for Matisse. You see that all the different spellings of the names are there. The nationality, it's French. There's different roles he played. There's an artist, a painter, a printmaker, a sculptor, designer. It goes on and on and on. All the people he has worked with. So his apprentices, his parents, his patrons, his students, his teachers, people he worked with, where these people were born, lived, etc., etc. Of course, you can link through their content. Where he was born exactly. So there's also a record in a geographical database, etc., etc. So this is very, very, very rich content. It's available on the web, and there's no museum or library website in the world that I know of that uses this. Right? So if you search on Matisse on an art website, you can use these links to suggest, okay, maybe you also want to look at students of Matisse, right? Nobody's doing that. Nobody. Why not? Because these formats are just going incompatible. It's very, very hard to reuse the content of this website in the content of your own, in the content management system of your own website, of your own museum. And it's because of the formats are incompatible, but also the terms are incompatible. So for the names, I think it could be doable. Sometimes the father and the son of the artist, the same name is difficult, but it's doable. But for instance, genre is very, very difficult. So what one side calls neo-pointillism, the other side calls the neo-impressionism, and it's a difficult thing. So this is also a problem that can be solved. Another quiz, visual quiz, sorry. Anyone who recognizes this logo? You don't count, Stephen. This is the logo of WC Semantic Web project. So actually, this project is directed to making these links and this kind of data openly available in a way that reusing this data is as easy as this reusing textual XML data. So one of the things you can do is represent all these links that you have, that you see in the Matisse records, so the apprentices, his parents, etc., in some kind of a graph format, and look like this. And this is just a small bit of the graph. Actually, the full graph is really, really, really big. and it's so big that you cannot understand it as a human being, but the machines are pretty good at it, to understand this kind of stuff. And all these relationships you can present in a format that's called RDF. It's an open format, and it makes it very, very easy for machines to read in these kinds of relationships. And how you will call these different relationships is up to you. And of course, there is also a standardization problem. So for one particular application, there is another standard that says how you can call these relationships for the sake of these kind of vocabularies that museums use. They're called simple knowledge organization systems. The standard is called SCORS. It's now very, very, very hot in the museum world. And what you see now is that lots of organizations are starting to use this open format to publish their vocabulary. So the Getty Institute is not doing this, for example, and we argue with them to do so. They're not responding at the moment. But for instance, an organization like the Library of Congress in America, they published the 300,000 subject headings in open format, in this format, in one of the formats. And actually what you see now is that other libraries are using their subject heading system because it's now so easy to reuse this open content. That is actually also more cost effective to use their stuff than to do it from scratch yourself.